This is gonna be a fun, rough podcast.
Good.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome. All right, I figured it out. I'm smart.
Sweet.
I have brain.
You have brain.
I have brain.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I got sick brain. You got streamer post stream brain. It's gonna be a great. All right. So welcome to FtBFtL, Fear to Burn and Friends to Learn, a talk show where gamers discuss the tactical genre, including gaming philosophy, concepts, systems, bugs, cheats, content creation, and more. We're your hosts, FearJBaller and Rectorol. We'll hope you'll join us on our journeys to understand better, to improve while preserving our favorite genre. Today, we're joined by Grease Lightning. He is a longtime friend of mine. He is also a relatively small YouTuber, although not for a lack of trying. On today's podcast, what Fear and I have been wanting to talk about is, we're going to devote the entire 90 minutes effectively today to, or at least branching off of this as a subject, is talking about the idea of stagnation. Specifically when we're creating content, playing games, there's always a disconnect between what you need to do next, where you are and where you're going, right? You might see the end of the road. You have every idea of where you are and what you're trying to do where you are, but you have no idea of the next step. And so the hopeful goal of tonight is just for us all to kind of talk about it and learn from each other's failures and faults and see where we go from there, as well as just talk about stagnation maybe in the gaming industry. I know I have a few points of topic on that. But Grease, welcome. And
Thank you.
to give a brief overview, Grease does play Escape from Tarkov here. He's well versed in it, but I would say majority of his channel's content has been more Arma and Hell Let Loose.
Nothing wrong with that.
Am I incorrect on that, Grease?
No, you're 100% on.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll throw the opener. Oh, I guess we could just start with a little bit of banter, as the British would say.
How do you like How Let Loose?
I really enjoy it. It's one of those things, though, like, you need to have a good group behind you playing. It's rough when you're trying to play by yourself.
Why is that?
And it's not fun when it's a herd of cats and you're just one of the cats, right? So, like, when you don't have a group that's talking together very well, things can go south real quickly. And when things go south and you're just getting beat up on, nobody likes to get beat up on. So, and half the fun of those type of games to me is the coordination of the team, knowing that, hey, I may have to sit in this hole and just shoot my MG40, on cyclic full bore, knowing I'm going to get killed a lot, so that the other group, the other squad can complete that flanking maneuver so you can take that point. To me, that's what makes those type of games really fun.
Do you primarily make content on those, like you said, Arma and Hell Let Loose?
Hell Let Loose, yes.
What kind of content are you kind of creating? Is it like what kind of content are you kind of creating? Tutorials, guys, or just PvP, just Looney Tune stuff?
I was generally kind of PvP with some tongue in cheek here and there.
I would say you were more of a, and maybe you never looked at this way, Grease, but I would say you're more of a storied narrator. So you tend to describe what's going on in your video and then let people see what happened organically. Which is, I wouldn't classify it as PvP. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're playing PvP games, but I think you're more, narrating a story.
Yeah, I think that'd be a more accurate description. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way, and maybe I need to pay more attention in that aspect of thinking about it. But I think that's actually a very fair way to describe it.
I mean, I had about 20 people, FearJBaller being one of them, tell me that I am looked at as the meme guy, and I went, I've looked at my content, the breadth of it, 1,700 videos or something it's at now, and I'm like, I think I should let's just go full bore on memes more. And I've been it's very interesting to try to find what your content is, because I think that's kind of where I know where Fear and I are at, and I think Greasy were just coming up on it. So kind of to give a cap here, because Grease did everything right, I would think by YouTube standards, right? He invested in a flashy intro, did a really good streamer setup. You got all of the technical ducks in a row very well, very quickly, and very early on. I was actually very impressed how good of quality in terms of like a technical level your streams were always early on.
I'm very, like, I don't want to say very good. I think that's the wrong term, because when you look at some of the guys out there, like Sushi and I can't remember, Sushi Dragon, and some of these, even Dr. Disrespect, their production levels and their technical stuff is so high. It's hard to, I consider those guys to be very good, at the top of the level of the game. But the technical stuff has always come fairly easy to me. It's finding the art side of it has always been the rougher side of the game for me. Talking about the narration and the storytelling aspect is where things have always been a little rough for me. So one area I particularly struggle in is the thumbnail creation and stuff along those lines. Whereas I think you do thumbnail creation very well. Fear, I haven't watched enough of your stuff, but I think you do very well.
You're gonna really fucking hate me in about 2 seconds, potentially. I would say about 90% of my videos, that maybe more, I've never created a thumbnail for. What I do is I put enough cool. This is why I really wanted to get into subtitling, especially with like a lot, because when YouTube goes like, "Hey, we're gonna pick a caption, or we're gonna pick a thumbnail for
automated thumbnail,"
yeah, there's a higher chance it's gonna pull stuff if there's subtitles on the screen.
Right.
And so
I know that.
Yeah, I hope it pulls the right one. And if it doesn't, I mean, that's what I have Premiere Pro for, and I'll just cut the thing into an image and upload it that way. Sometimes I do thumbnails. I just don't. The first time I sat down and like hard designed a thumbnail was actually after FearJBaller did the first thumbnail for the podcast, and I'm like, well, now I have a base to go off of for a thumbnail. I liked his
I noticed that. I'm like, this is the same theme. I'm like, I like it.
It's a good theme. It's easy, and it's yeah. I mean, it meshes our blue and yellow together, purple and yellow together.
Yeah,
which make blue. No, blue and yellow make purple. No, oh my lord, blue and oh god, This is what I said I was going to be tired tonight. All right, we're not going to talk about RGB.
But Grease, let me ask you a question. Like, well, I just want to say, I think, did you watch? There was a podcast. Well, do you know who Lex Friedman is?
I do know who Lex Friedman is.
He did a podcast with Mr. Beast, and that was pretty insightful. Like the way that kids' mind ticks. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I didn't see the Lex Friedman one, and that since you said that, I'm going to go watch that. But I watched the one with Mr. Beast and Joe Rogan. I believe it was Joe. He was on Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Beast, Joe Rogan, and I was listening to him talk, and it was kind of amazing to listen to him talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about how deep he goes in tweaking things to see how it works. It kind of blew my mind. It was a great podcast to listen to.
Yeah, when he started talking about the thumbnails, when you brought that up, it made me think about it, because it made me realize that the thumbnail of a YouTube video, and you always have it back in mind, I was like, duh. Like, yeah, of course, if a good thumbnail, people click on it, obvious. But it's like a billboard on the side of a street. You know what I mean? Yeah, it has to be that thing. And he said he creates 1,000. Like he said, he'll care up to like 1,000 of them. He'll have his team just crank them out, and he'll pick one for just one video. You know what I mean? He has hundreds and hundreds of ones he just says no to all the time. I'm like, damn, like he really takes titling, not even titling, but the thumbnail so beautifully out of proportion versus everything else. And I just thought that was really insightful. I was like,
I think when you're getting to that point, because he uses, I'm trying to remember, Tommy Hiller does, I think, some of the editing for Beast. I know he does a lot of editing for a lot of the big boys. He's been somebody as a resource.
He has a massive team apparently. He just has so many people coming in and out.
And it's
Yeah,
well, I was gonna say if you put like 10 editors in a room and ask them to pick the best still from a video, right? You're gonna be able to shit out probably a better thumbnail than the YouTube algorithm. But I know with me, every time I've tried making a thumbnail, I think you said something about this originally when I first cut the podcast intro. Like it was like this is very cluttered because that's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I throw a lot on when I do Photoshop and image editing. You know, it seems like it's right next door to video editing, and they're leagues different.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
But there was a YouTuber. I want to say I can't remember names. I believe Michael Reeves might have been one of them. No, he's not really.
Michael Reeves.
Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to remember. He's kind of attached to like I don't want to say OTK or one of those gaming groups on Twitch. But he's
Like
kind
the
of
little kid. He has like younger kid with like glasses. He wears glasses.
yeah, he's a little
Michael
nerdy
Reeves?
kid, and he's great.
Like programming kid.
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
I believe it was him, or he was talking to somebody about this, but like there's a lot of successful YouTubers that do not do thumbnails. They specifically just let YouTube pick the algorithm, or like YouTube pick the thumbnail. Granted, you know, I don't. It's something that I'm probably going to be committing to and trying for like a year, maybe less, but unless I have an inspiration for a thumbnail for a video. I guess for me, the reason to do something needs to be greater than the reason not to do it. And thumbnails, I don't want to say they feel like a waste of time. They feel like a waste of time at my current skill set, unless I wanted to pay somebody to make a thumbnail for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that.
Yeah.
How do you guys
It makes sense. It
But,
makes sense. I mean, you gotta have kind of like that base level, because there is like when it comes to thumbnail creation and stuff like that, and video editing is another one, streaming, there is a base level that you have to meet first. If you can't meet that base level, then you know, of expectation that people outside have, then it makes you just look. Then it is a waste of your time.
Well, since we're on thumbnails, I guess where do you guys go for inspiration for your thumbnails when you do make them? Like, do you look at movie posters? Are you looking at other people's thumbnails mainly? You know how.
Generally, I look at a couple other people that are in the same space, kind of see what they're doing, and then kind of try and figure out my own spin on it if I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine's are just sort of like so dumb now. Like it's just the same thing over and over. Cool picture of a screenshot of something in the game with my banner around it. That's just kind of what it is. It's not the best thing to do.
Well,
but like, I look at like Pistilli. Pistilli, honestly, I'm not a fan of like the landmark one where it's like, oh his like face, like, oh, you know, I know it's like a YouTube thing. There are things that I just don't like. That's one of them.
I did a few face thumbnails. I hate it. So like trying to
I don't know.
reaction faces.
It's just not me.
I'm interested because I've read some stuff on this, but I'm interested. Did you see a bump on the Facebook thumbnail, or when you put the face thumbnails up? Did you see a little bit of bump on your videos?
Yeah, a little bit. And
okay, because one of the things that I was reading was that, or saw somewhere, listen to somebody talk about, was like there's a natural gravitation towards a face, because that's one reason I never did it. Was the same thing. I hate the face on the thumbnail thing. Like I absolutely just cannot stand doing it. I've never done it because I can't come up with those reaction things. But there's supposedly a gravitation towards those to click on those, and you get a natural little bump because of the face on the thumbnail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 100% true, honestly. And unless you have like some like over the top art, like Pistilli's art on his Pistilli's whole production, the Tarkov world, like he's like his like intro to I think the hardcore series or whatever, or the guides is phenomenal. It's super sick. And then having that type of like production on a thumbnail, he doesn't need his face because it's so cool. Where people use the Unity assets from Tarkov and they have like the 3D models of the characters doing different things with like, if that makes sense, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
That is very cool.
I'm so glad Junkers blew up. He was somebody I kind of watched a little bit early on, but he does all that stuff, and it's been insane to watch. I don't know if that's where you're going with it necessarily, but it's been insane to watch as more of this technology becomes accessible to people and not restricted by needing a company and an entire support team developing like mocap suits are already developed, right? And which I'm assuming is how Junkers does some of his stuff. I could be 100% wrong. I'm assuming he does like facial mocap at the very least, or whatever that. Star Grease might know about this. Star Citizen developed something or pioneered some technology for facial reading too. I remember a long time ago. For taking your face and going, instead of having a fear. I don't know if you know about this, but have you ever used any gadgets on your computer to, like, if I turn my head, it turns my character in game? Like, have you ever used any of that kind of stuff, peripherals wise?
Like my real life head?
Yeah.
No, I always thought it would be cool, but no, I've never got into that stuff.
So they're usually, it's pretty damn expensive. Like I have a VR headset, and that was probably one of the best or worst purchases of my life. I'm still not sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
My computer just doesn't run it well, and besides a few games, I'm getting off track, but besides a few games, there's just, oh god, there are no good shooters for VR. And there might be somebody that goes, Pavlov's House is great.
Well, I think the problem with shooter VR is the input method right now. But that's a whole nother tangent. We talk about some other time, but I think it's the input's the problem.
Well, I guess where I was going with it is when you have something, I think, that is using your face. And so, Fear, you and I don't say you and I don't. I know you tried doing some of this recently, but I turned my webcam off while streaming. I don't generally like to show my face while streaming because I found it to not add to the video. So it would feel disingenuous for me to put it in a thumbnail if I'm not talking, as if, like, you're not going to see my face at all in the video.
Right.
So because it leads to a false expectation, and I think that's one of the hard things I have with thumbnails to cycle this back.
I don't think so though.
Yeah.
I don't think it leads to a false expectation.
You don't? Okay.
I feel, for instance, there's so many videos out there and people, like, I don't know who they look like. I just know what they sound like. So if I had an idea what that person looked like, you can it's like kind of like you hang out with people who you associate that are like unconscious, like subconsciously, like handsome. You know what I mean? It's like men attract them. If that make it, I'm trying to find a way to explain this. Like, psychologically, a man will look at another dude and be like, that dude's buff. I want to hang out with a buff dude. You know what I mean? Oh, that dude has an awesome beard. I want to talk to this guy. He's an awesome beard. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you have, it's the same thing with Grisha said. It's like, did you notice an uptick having the face on the thumbnail? It's that same idea. It's like, though you might not be in the video all the time, they know who you are. Like, okay, that guy has a beard, and then you have well, you shave your fucking beard, and now people are like, yo, he shaved his beard on the next thumbnail. What's going on? You know what I mean? So it adds like that type of person, like, I don't know, personality to your channel or your video that you're going for. I don't think it's like disingenuous by any means. Kind of gets an idea of like, this is the guy that I'm watching instead of just a voice. When it's just a voice, it has to be, the content has to be outside of the person creating it, right? Like if you're doing like those movie review stuff, it's just the voice. You know, remember the voice doesn't matter. It's the content behind the voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just a personalized small YouTube channel, I think it does make a big difference to have the community know who you are.
It does. I mean, well, that's why I made my thumbnail, or not my profile picture. I mean, for both channels.
Exactly like that. Like yeah. So having like a little picture of you, you know how I have my logo? Like your face is your logo at this point.
Yep.
So on your thumbnail, on the left hand corner, just put your fucking face.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like those kind of things is what I'm getting at. It doesn't have to be like a shock, like a fucking like a, what is it? Nick Merckx, like hand on his head, screaming into his or you know, Tim the Tap Man. It's just like he's just pointing and screaming for the thumbnails. I'm like, dude, I know where they do it. It's so corny.
What's funny to me, I think, is the picture that I took it's a very weird one. I took that profile picture. Like it's the one I have for Discord too.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, is it the one I'm looking at right now?
Yeah, I took this when I first went like, I'm gonna be a Mohawk guy now. Did not tell my fiance, didn't tell my family, didn't tell like my boss. I did this kind of right at the tail end of like, hey, I was allowed to work from home, and hey, you need to really be coming back to the office type situation. And I showed up to work, and they're just like, you have a Mohawk now. And I'm like, yeah, is that gonna be a problem? And it was a fun profile picture, and then I imposed it on a train for one of my videos, and it's my outro now. It's just me, like Thomas the Tank Engine, very badly photoshopped, or I want to say just motion tracked on a train. And I went and grabbed stock footage of a train, and it's just me, Thomas the Tank Engine training, and it has been one of the biggest things that drives subscribers to my channel, and I don't understand it. I'm so confused because a lot of people I talk to when they go like, this is why I subscribed to your channel, is because I saw your face on a train. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, the hours of content. Or go ahead.
Yeah, but it feeds back into what you were talking about earlier about being the meme guy, right? It feeds into that, and that's why people are coming to you. It's like I remember when I first started looking before I joined our old group, and I first started looking for armor groups. One of the armor groups that I was looking at was called. It was I don't remember what it was called, but it was a reference to It was a reference to what's the show? Philip J. Fry.
Futurama.
Futurama.
Great
Yeah,
show, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. And like the whole joking demeanor, the whole thing, like it all fits so well that it drew me to them. I couldn't get in touch with anybody, which kind of feeds to the whole thing. So that's why I ended up with the group that we're at. So like, it that fits your personality and it draws the people because that's the personality and that's you and that's what draws them in. If that makes sense. I felt like a rambled little there.
No, it does, and it's one of the reasons I started talking to it's one of the reasons I started talking to Fear more. And one of the reasons we started the podcast is because it's hard to, I guess, to tie this back to stagnation. It's hard to get outside your own head, especially, you streamed hardcore for a while, Grease. Like you worked 8 hours a day at a job, and then I think you were streaming 3-4 hours a night. Pretty routinely. Fear, you try to push out usually about 8 hours when you stream, sometimes up to and that's actually I don't know. Do you do 8-hour streams anymore? I know you do kind of like a split stream with dinner type thing.
It's weird, man, because I don't know. It's just like I want to. I don't know if I can play Tarkov that fucking much, man.
Oh yeah, that's
a long time.
That's my problem right now. So it's like talking about like stagnation and just stuff. It's like at the beginning of the wipe, I was excited to like hop on. I would go on 13, 14-hour stream like days, just killing it. Now it's like, fuck, dude, 2 hours is brutal for me. I mean, just mentally, like the game's fun, but I'm just like, I don't know. Part of me wishes I could do something else.
Because this is hard because the moment you step outside your comfort zone of Tarkov and you upload that video, it's
yeah.
It's hard to, number one, you have to do a lot of now, like, do I want to tag? I have to potentially screw around that whole system. You're now competing against people. Put it like if I try to make a squad video, right? For example, I know who I'll be attempting to emulate when I make one. And every time I've made a squad video, right, it's like it comes out one of three ways. It's basically an imitation of Karma Cuts, probably one of like Drewski's or Boy Dog's videos, or comes off like I'm blanking on his name. The crazy Swedish guy. Oh,
crazy Swedish guy.
yeah, he's a big squad content creator. Oh, I'm blanking on his name right now. Grease, you probably know him. I think he's Swedish. I want to say.
I can't. I don't know who you pulled off the top of my head. I don't know who we're talking about. I've probably watched a video of his.
Nano.
Oh yeah, Nano.
I think he's Swedish. I'm going off accent. He's either Swedish.
I don't know what he is off the top of my head. I do like his videos though.
Oh yeah.
Him, and there was, I can't remember who the other one was, but I don't know if you remember the Anastasi video I did. He was a big kind of inspiration on that one. Him and what's his name? The ZF guys. Not Cyanide, but the other one.
You talking about Badger? Not Badger.
Badger's a group.
Yeah. No, you're talking about Soviet Womble.
Yeah, Soviet Womble. Yeah, Soviet and Nano were big inspirations off that Anastasi video, but I realized how long it takes to edit those videos. It was like, oh.
I'm actually curious, Fear, do you know who Soviet Womble is?
No.
He is somebody that single-handedly, I think, revived and ruined Arma 3 at the same time with his content. So a good way to put he's one of those people that did he blew up for a series called Random Arma Bullshittery, which is he took a supercut of about like 3 or 4 months of playing with Arma with a group of people. And if you're playing Arma with a group of characters, right, you have 20 to 30 people you're throwing into missions every couple days. I mean, think about it with Tarkov. You had 20, 30 people sitting in a channel playing Tarkov every day, all day.
Yeah.
You're going to have some really banger moments, especially if they're all just pieces of shit to each other.
Right.
So when when those videos started blowing up, everybody Reese and I played Arma with, I won't say everybody, but people began to imitate that more. And this is one of the things I always struggle with content creation with Stagnation too, is sometimes you can make something, and when the world takes it, right, they can take it and use it for, I want to say bad culture for a game, but it's why I don't upload negative content. Like, I don't want to shit on the BSG devs. I don't want to sit there and shit on developers. It's not my content. So when people like always want to like talk about like Battle State's doing bad with their game design, I mean, I have an opinion, but it's like it's not a well formulated opinion. So if I give a really bad take on it, oh, this is I got this point got away from me, but I don't want it to influence unduly, especially on my content or the people that are watching me. I've seen it happen in real time a few times. Specifically like as Arma with the bullshittery moment, because we had 2 trains of thought when people started being more like memey and pieces of shit, which, you know, I get. When I play Tarkov, I'm sometimes a memey piece of shit, but I can take it too far, and that's when I'm like, hey guys, let's just play serious Tarkov for a raid or 2, and stop dying because I decide to jump out of a 2-story building because I think it's funny. I don't necessarily know the question I have off of that. So,
well,
do you guys
go
have
ahead,
something?
Fear, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, if you guys have something you want to bring up, and
Yeah, I'll throw something in a second. Go ahead, Fear.
Oh yeah, what I want to say was, you said like, well, what you were just talking about made me bring up 2 things. The first one was like, the reason why I don't feel enthused is because my enthusiasm is directly related, and it's not supposed to be this way because it's not healthy, but it's directly related to the quality and upticks of views. You know what I mean? So the more views I get, the better I feel, and the more I want to do it. And when the views aren't coming in and there's just that bad month, then getting on and sitting there for hours knowing that it's not going to happen this month is a fucking grind. And that just drains on me extremely bad. And bring it back to another point, I guess. Bump on the thumbnail face and bring this back. I just opened up analytics from a video I did, and it did terrible. But I just wanted to see if I show my face on a video, talk about something, and ask the people to just like this video, how many people out of the total views are going to like the video, right? It got 173 views, 2.9 thousand impressions, but the click-through rate was still 4.6. So even seeing my face, it didn't really matter in comparison to my best video that I've done. It was just a picture of the Tarkov inventory or insurance screen that had 951,000 impressions and a 17% click-through rate with a total of like 250,000 views. So when I look at those types of like statistics, I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like I'm looking at straight data, and then you see people telling you like, oh, it helps, and and you feel that it helps because it makes sense for from a human standpoint. But like I'm looking at like an analytical standpoint, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I understand why this video did well because it was like super clickbaity, and even people like Veritas commented on it. Was like, I never knew that, and I was like, okay, cool. So there was something there, but it was just one of those things. It's just like that's kind of my little take on everything that I've just been building up inside of me for the last 10 seconds. I'm taking notes and as we're talking, so I can kind of relay back points. But another point I want to go back to when you have a second is Grease and your storytelling. Like I want to know more about your content and like how you create it and stuff like that. I'm just interested. But yeah, my videos in this, like I've been trying to get back to this, posting every day and trying to figure it out, but it's just like I can't. It was just I felt like it was not a one-hit wonder, but I did post other things that did decently well. But it was just one of those things that's like I found something that was just right place, right time. That's all that was. It wasn't me. It was just right place, right time. And then I did something funny at the end. I said like I love you in the video, and everyone who watched the video was like, so many comments like I love you. Had like 13,000. I had a lot of likes on this video. Let me double check. Looking. 13,000 likes, 1,300 comments. Like that's insane. You know what I mean?
It's pretty up there. Yeah, I think most of my big boys at 2.2 thousand likes or something like that. It's not. It's not too. Didn't get that high.
It's just one of those things that I'm always trying to just figure out like what the hell to do.
What? How do you replicate that? And you're like, did the algorithm push it? Which is.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I want to get over to here. But
yeah, but it's just one of those things.
It's weird judging off analytics, and it's one of the reasons. I know it's kind of a bit weird, but it's one of the reasons I switched from making, like, trying to release 1 to potentially 3 videos. I think the worst day ever day, I think I put like 11 videos out on my one channel in one day. It was a train wreck. But this is why I started a shorts channel, which going back to Grease, when Grease was, I don't want to say you've taken a sabbatical from content creating, I would say for probably, 6 months, Grease, 4 or 5 months, kind of.
From this specific, video game content, yes. From other content, no, because I do have a soccer podcast on the side, that I have been working on. But I've also, I think the situation where I've moved jobs, so the past kind of 2 to 6 months have been a little busy on the regular job, so it's been a little bit harder for me to keep up with the other podcasts and the video game stuff on the side too.
I think that's one of the hard. Actually, that's actually funny. So, because you've been kind of on a break from content, so I'm assuming I know you're doing the soccer podcast, but do you find you have more time to consume content passively though, because you're not like editing and streaming? Like, do you?
I do.
Okay, yeah, because what I mean by that, I guess for clarification, is when I'm in a like editing binge for about a month or so, I don't really watch anybody else. I don't watch TV. I don't really watch news. I don't I socialize with people and like, I'll browse shorts and I'll try to watch 1 or 2 videos. I try to stop in on Fear stream, and I try to stop in on a couple people's streams, and kind of like, okay, I want to see how they're doing and what they're going through. But when you made the decision to pull back, I know it was mainly real life based. Have you? Well, I guess I'll go back to this. With your content, did you ever like write down a goal? I know you were somebody who was very goal oriented from my talking with you and my experience with you. So with like YouTube, was there ever a goal that you wrote down? Like if I reach this, or like I don't know if I reach this, but I want to try to be in this place next year.
Yes, but I was listening to. I'm trying to think of who it was. I think it was Harris Heller, and I got to points where it was like, okay, I was like, okay, I want to have this many subscribers by this point, right? And the problem with like subscriber goals and stuff like that is that's very dependent on other people, right? If that makes sense. So I got to the point where instead of trying to do goals like that, I focused more on goals that I could achieve. Like it was like, okay, I want to, the next video I make, I want to learn how to do this transition better, or I want to make sure I put out 4 videos a week and stream, 3 to 4 hours a day, stuff like that, stuff where I could drive the success. And when I was doing that, it made me feel it was a lot better because I wasn't worried about so much. I wasn't chasing the subscriber endpoint, right? I was focused on what I can do. And when I was doing that, I was seeing growth.
Right.
So yes, I did do goals, but they were more like, okay, make sure I post here, make sure I want to learn to do X better, make sure I get these videos out by this day, this many videos a week, stuff like that.
Right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now doing all of that, it's like it's the business side, right? Could we agree? It's like just showing up, making sure everything's organized, and being punctual with your business, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now Harris Heller, is that his name? Harris Heller?
Yeah, Harris.
Alpha Gaming. He used to be Alpha Gaming. I was like Senpai, whatever.
It's like Senpai Gaming now.
I know what you're talking about now.
He talked about creating value, and value, even I don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, but it's always about what kind of value can you produce. And in any business, it's like the value is, in our terms, is the creative. What type of value creatively are you giving to your audience that you felt that you noticed that was like, that was the uptick for that video, if you have noticed it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah, no, take your time here.
I always felt the uptick came when I was doing more of the teaching stuff, right? Or passing information. That's when I always felt my videos were doing a little bit better. And that's one thing that I was towards the end before I took this hiatus, I was trying to figure out how I could shift more to that direction, because Rec has worked with me on a lot of stuff, and he knows that's the vein of the soccer in the vein of the soccer podcast as well, is and in my real life job, I'm a trainer. I enjoy training. That's one of the things that I do. I like coaching. I like training. And that's the stuff that excites me. So, and I've gotten the bug back, and that's what I'm kind of working on out in my head now, is how to move more in that direction.
Well, funny, you brought something up earlier. My brother has been hard pressing me on setting up something with Anastasi. And Fear, I'm going to go ahead and assume that when we say the word Anastasi, you probably have no idea what the hell we're talking.
100%.
Okay. Grease, you want to explain Anastasi? Because you played it a hell of a lot more than I did. But it's not necessarily Anastasi-like, but if you want to take it.
So Anastasi is a mod for Arma, and the best way to describe it is you start from how's the song go? Start from the bottom, now we're here. That's Anastasi for you.
I love John. I don't know if you ever heard John Lithgow. I've always wanted to meme it. It's really hard to do without compiling like months of footage. But he does a song called "Started as a Baby," because it parodies that song. But anyways, yeah, Anastasi.
Yeah. So you start off as like freedom fighters with like a NATO army and a Russian army on fighting for the island, and you're fighting to free the island. And you go fight for points, steal gear, basically get better gear, and work your way up and try and force them off the island. That's Anastasia in a nutshell. And that's where it leads to a lot of really funny moments and fun divergent gameplay. One of my favorite stories from Anastasia was I snuck onto an airbase dressed as a civilian, stole a tank, blew up a bunch of stuff, and I was right on the border of where the Russian and the Blue Force and the Op 4. I don't, if anybody doesn't know, Blue Force is generally considered friendly units or NATO units. Op 4 is considered opposing force, which is generally the bad guys, who's usually some sort of Russian themed gear. And I was right on the border, and I was shooting NATO. And so NATO rolled out 3 tanks to kill the tank I was in, which in turn caused the Op 4 to fly in a bunch of attack helicopters to kill the tanks, which then triggered NATO to bring in an Air Force, and it just turned into a whole big old thing that I just got to sit back and laugh and watch.
And put this in perspective, Anastasia can take anywhere from a day to months to play through. So it's a persistent save. Most people don't have it up running 24/7.
Okay.
You don't have the people to. Some places do. Some places run public 24/7 servers. It's a bit. Arma's a very weird game, especially when it comes to Anastasia is primarily PvP. There can be some PvP with Anastasia. I'm trying to remember. Was it Anastasia?
They have like special. No, Anastasia has like special forces for the two sides. So if you have enough Green 4, which is what you play, Green Forces Independence, you have enough Green 4, then you can start pulling off to special forces for both sides.
To put it in like Tarkov ways, like if all the scabs linked up with all of the bears to fight off the USEC in the city of Tarkov. Like that's but it's PvE. There's a life up. I guess maybe it's life up. Is it life up the one where you have to, it's so stupid, you have to like go pick oranges, but you're in a tactical shooter. You have to pick apples and oranges and stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You know, the funny thing though, that you know, the new role play in Grand Theft Auto is basically a better version of life.
Yeah, that's
I think that's where that's where the whole RP Grand Theft Auto RP came from.
But I'm glad that they left Arma for that. I know maybe people don't like that, but because Arma was not suited for civilian like playthrough interactions. I think Reforger is gonna be, because Reforger has a better, mainly because Life of had you had cops driving around, but they're in like 1980s crappy vehicles and stuff, and it was all memey and it was all kind of crappy. Where Grand Theft Auto, it's still memey, but it's, I don't want to say it looks nice. It feels a hell of a lot better. Arma is one of the clunkiest games out there. A lot of people hate PvP in it, except for whatever reason. Are you familiar with Karma Cut here as a content creator?
Karma Cut, what is that?
It's his name, the same as me saying FtBFtL or Rectorol.
It's a person. Okay, it's a person.
It's a person.
It's a human being.
He kind of is in the same. I think he's kind of somewhat close with Drewski. They do a lot of collab stuff. So if you're familiar with, like Operator Drewski, Karma Cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dude, I've always pronounced his name so bad. Then. Yeah. Okay, absolutely. I have pronounced it wrong for years now. Absolutely.
He is somebody that is a freaking blast to try to play with. He is very busy. I've played with him a few times. Grease has played with him quite a few times.
Oh wow.
The Arma servers he put together have been. I played Hell Let Loose with him, and three times. I think he puts out like a lot of public stuff, like, "Hey, I'm going to be doing this. I want people to coordinate with me." So it's not really like a direct invitations or anything. want to come off that way.
Yeah. He is single-handedly revived Squad for me. His little mod that he did.
It's awesome.
But he does. He's doing a weird Arma PvP campaign right now, which was honestly kind of like one of the dreams I had when I was running Arma, and it was funny to watch him succeed in it. I was like, I'm grateful to watch these things because setting that up and running that would have been a pain in the ass. He is running PvP in Arma, but he's doing it where it's special forces versus like usually local militia. But he's giving the special forces all the toys. They have nods. They have, Reaper drones. They have Apache helicopters on standby.
Sick.
Are you talking about the COG versus KC stuff?
Yeah,
yeah.
So, but all the like Blue 4 troops, all the special forces guys cannot respawn. So if they die, like they're out of the mission. But all of the regulars can just keep throwing themselves against the wall for as long as they want. And I mean, I did something similar in Arma. I don't want to go too deep into that. But just where my content, I'm blanking on stuff here. To tie this back, where I was trying to go with it, I've found his content to be evolving. He's somebody who had figured out how to make content, which is he just kind of went on and narrated. He did like the story stuff, I guess, that Grease does, right? Where it's, or that we see a lot of like Tarkov people do. Trying to think of like Jesse Kazam has done a lot of them. Airwing Marine, I think, has done a decent amount of like where he's going to narrate what he's doing. So Karma Cut would kind of do that, and then he'd show you, hey, here's 30 minutes of this match.
Yeah. I've seen this stuff. It's good. I like it.
And it's funny that ever since he's diverged from that, at least from my perspective, it looks like he took a little hit in the viewer count, but his enthusiasm and passion is through the roof. And that's always something when we're kind of bringing it back to Stagnation, is it's kind of where you're at with Tarkov. If you lose the passion, like where, what's the next step? And I think if you don't have the passion for something, it's hard to ever have the next step.
100%. I think it's true for life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just
it applies to all.
It applies to everything.
All life. Yeah. It's like I had that when we had a little Arma thing going on. This was kind of after you stepped away, Rec, when people were we were losing numbers, and I kept trying to tell a lot of the new guys, it's like, well, we're doing the same thing over and over again. All of our missions were just go here, attack this. It's not fun anymore. And I was pointed, I can't remember your 3 pillars, but I was like, there's a reason that the first pillar is fun.
I told Fear about those pillars. Sorry, continue.
Okay. No, you're good. But there's a reason, like, video games are fun. They're supposed to be fun, right? If we're not having fun, then why are we doing this? And it really kind of applies to everything I know I've done. If I'm not liking it and I'm not having a good time, then it becomes mundane and I hate it, and you don't want to do it. And it's hard to do something when you're not at least enjoying your time, the time that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Fear.
No, I'm just agreeing. I said, yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah, it's so the 3 pillars he was talking about. So I ascribe to a philosophy generally when I'm playing video games, but I ham this hard down when I'm running events for people. I use a 3-pillar argument called video games should first and foremost be enjoyable. Then second, video games should be challenging. And very last, video games, you should approach them with a sense of professionalism and or realism, depending on the game. So Tarkov's a great example. You will get killed trying to be tactical and like doing proper radio comms because Landmark runs into you. He's going to wipe anybody trying to be tactical in that game.
Yeah. Except me.
Except so, and it's,
I dare him.
I can't wait for Arena because there's a higher chance of running into people with that thing going on. Oof.
I am interested in Arena.
That's like, so I guess we can segue off stagnation of our content to stagnation of games in general. Escape from Tarkov was the game that reinvigorated my joy for gaming. Because my joy for gaming before Tarkov came almost exclusively for about a decade of my life from the enjoyment of others. So I don't know how to describe it to some people, but like I could say like I'm a 60th level dungeon master, right? Like I DM D&D is a great example too. I don't really like playing D&D, but I love DMing it. And mainly because I love giving up control to other people. I love setting up the scenario. I love setting up the setting and then letting people just be people. A great example of this in Arma that I tried to do when Grease was talking about, like, hey, the group's stagnating. What do we, one of the things when I was facing that problem, I just started leaving unlocked vehicles, like civilian vehicles, all over the maps. So I would spawn in and put these in. Now you're playing the, United States Marine Corps. You're running around, yeah, Humvees, but you have 3 idiots out of 25, 30, 40 people playing, at least. One of them's going to get in that civilian vehicle and do something really fucking stupid. And it breaks up the monotony of the night. They get yelled at, but like not yelled at and like I hate you, why are you playing with us? And like you're playing Tarkov and somebody breaches in front of you while you're throwing a grenade and you're like, dude, what? I said grenade. I'm throwing a grenade in there. Why are you running in the room? So you just had to be a dick for a second. So Tarkov reinvigorated my love for gaming. I'm curious, because you're kind of going through this, Fear. Do you see a game on the horizon that you're looking at and going, I see hope for the future of gaming? Or is that still kind of Tarkov for you? Because I know Tarkov's kind of your bread and butter still. Kind of is for me too, to be honest.
It's hard to say, right? Because I'm at a point to where it goes back to the passion idea. It's like it isn't passion. Like I'm very passionate about all this every day, no matter what. But it's the idea. It's like, am I going to keep banging my head against the wall, or do I have to find something else to work on? Because I want it to be this. I want it to be here. I want it to be doing this all the time. Mm-hmm. Having these conversations, making videos, meeting people, playing video games. Is it going to be Tarkov? I don't know. And that part is hard to say. It's like a hard pill to swallow for me to like look in the mirror and be like, I can't just play something else. So it's just like I hate feeling like what I'm doing isn't working. Does that make sense? I hate it's just like people's like, oh, just upload 1,000 videos, get no views. It's like, no, that means it's not working. It means it's never gonna work. If you upload 50 videos and they don't work, that was a test. If you upload 200 videos and they don't work, that's delusion. And it's like having the mental clarity to be like, what do I need to switch to that will work? And that is like the debate I have with myself every time I log. It's like, am I doing something right today, or am I just playing video games?
I think one of the things that like, oh yeah, I love when you, by the way, that saying you say is, I gotta want to put it on a t-shirt. Are you creating content, or are you just playing video games?
Yeah, and that's what I think about all the time. It's just there's so many games I like to play. I love shooters. I love the RTS, like Milsim, like not Milsim, but yeah, that's the what the fuck am I trying to say? This like City Skylines. That stuff is really fun. Can I make content on that? I don't know. Actually, I don't think so.
Funny, I like that.
I like it's like I like watching people play basketball. I don't want to go outside and play basketball. It's like that idea.
So, City Skylines. I'm actually glad you brought that up because I was going to bring this up to you in a DM, but I'm just going to talk about it on the podcast. My brother and I are very into City Skylines, or at least we were for a while, and we're very into like city planning games. I don't know if you ever played Prison Architect and RimWorld. Those games, they're stupid fun. But so with City Skylines,
you mean Genocide Simulator?
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people that play City Skylines. There's a decent amount of people, and I think it might be cool. Like me and you might be the only content creators there, Fear. But one of the ideas I was playing around with, like Stagnation and meeting people, is breaking out of the bubble to try different things. And one of those was a challenge scenario in City Skylines of like, we all agree to do the same settings, the same map, and we have 90 minutes. And this is the challenge. Whether it be first person to have 10 million cash sitting, first person to, I don't know, have the highest crime rate, just You could throw a wall at the achievements
Me
for
and-
City Skylines.
Me and Brandon, we just found a mod for a multiplayer Skylines. Basically, puts us on a client and we play together on the same map.
Ooh.
We all pick a tile next to each other. I guess we play, which would be kind of fucking cool. I'm gonna fuck with it and see how it turns out.
Yeah,
That'll be a really cool idea to work out. But yeah, I definitely want to do stuff with like you guys. Like I'm always doing stuff with myself, and I could do that. Like I cranked that out. I know how to. I am the machine for my own staff. But like I want to do stuff with other you guys. You know, like that's why I want to have these conversations. And it's like, but like Reese, like what I said, like when do you feel like you're just playing video games? Or would you like? Do you ever feel that way? Are you working? Or are you playing video games? Like, do you ever look at your stuff? Look at the stuff you're doing content wise. You said you took a hiatus, so it might be different for you. But how do you feel about all that kind of stuff?
Now I'm just playing. Like now I'm just playing. Right now I'm just playing video.
Just chilling.
I do have the itch. Right now, and it's funny that this has come back up. This podcast came up is like the past couple weeks. I've been starting to get that itch again, where I miss. As much as I hated doing it, I miss the editing process. I miss, all that stuff. And so I'm starting to think about, that's why I'm re-looking at what I want to do. But yes, when you're doing this, like you have to almost plan out like, okay, today I'm going to play this to get, with the idea of, hey, I want to get some kind of footage.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like going into Hell Let Loose. It's like I knew tank footage for whatever reason, and Hell Let Loose always does really well. And so it's like,
not
okay,
on YouTube Shorts, by the way,
not on YouTube Shorts, but
YouTube
as
Shorts.
long form, yeah, in long form it does really well. But it's like, okay, I got to play tank, but like you fear, I don't think you've played it, Rec. You know what map I'm about to talk about? It's like, I don't want to play this map.
The Purple Heart Lane
with a tank because it's awful for tanks.
So Purple Heart Lane, to describe it for you, it is a single road driving. Imagine driving a tank down the road on customs, and then on either of your side is effectively the same thing as the swamp in the middle of the shoreline. Like, so if you want to get off the road, you can. You're gonna get stuck and drown your tank and all your trucks. And there's some raised roads you can get through, but it's especially Purple Heart Lane night, which Hell Let Loose did something that I really wish more games would have the balls to do, which is when you don't have night vision, don't have flashlights, still do night games. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why there's not more shooters out there with like night modes. It's terrifying. Tarkov is a great example. Tarkov is terrifying as hell at night without nods or a flashlight, but it's where you separate the boys from the men. But sorry, continue.
It brings the tension.
Yeah. But go back to, sorry, you were talking about the tank on Purple Heart Lane.
Yeah, but it's like I don't want to do it. Like I really don't want to play this map as a tank. And then you also, I've already played a match or two with the majority of this team, and I know they're not going to support the tank. They're just going to run off and go do their thing. So it's like, what do you do in that situation? It's like, oh, I got to get the footage, but I really don't want to get the footage.
That's kind of what I was talking about earlier with like, there's certain points I just have to stop and fade. And it brings back, I guess, why I brought up Soviet Womble is because people see a clip or they see a highlight and there's an expectation that that's what the game is and that's what it is at all time, right? So I have a lot of Chad kills or like weird kills. I'm like it's like I dunk on Chads occasionally, like, but usually it's me screwing up and then dunking on a Chad regardless of screwing up. So when people come into my stream, they expected me to be just clapping Chads all the time, and I was getting killed constantly, mainly because my focus was diverted to like, I want to make a good stream, and so I stopped caring about. Tarkov's a hard one to stream in. I don't know how you do it, Fear, consistently as much as you have. I tried. I gave it a college goddamn try. I have so much respect for the Tarkov streamers that have been doing this for 6-7 years. Veritas, for example, just.
Oh, I mean, Veritas took a heavy break too. I love the game. It's a fun fucking game.
Dark and Darker, out of curiosity.
I like it.
Love it.
Got boring really fast, but I really liked it.
boring. Oh, yeah, I'm the same way. It got stupid boring because I'm playing it. I'm like, this is great. I love this game. I love this concept. I see where it's going, but I'm only gonna play it like, they were doing test sessions. Like, oh, the game's up for a week. Like, we're gonna play it every night this week. I'm like, I'm gonna play it one night this week, guys, maybe two, because I don't want to ruin. I just want to give them feedback and see how I feel about the game. I don't want to like invest into this game yet. And
Yeah.
there's a part of me that wants to, because that game, oh god, I just we got the last time it came out, and it's gonna be, well, this podcast is gonna be released after this happens, but on Monday, on February 6th, they're doing another Dark and Darker test, which kind of upset me because it's coinciding with Battle Bits Remastered is also doing a test this weekend. And I'm not sure if you've heard of that game, because that's a hard
Yeah, I
one.
played it.
Oh my god, it's I love trolling people in VoIP, but that game's hard. It's 64v64, and a lot of people are VoIP.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Ooh.
I don't know. I've never been a fan of the Battlefield large scale stuff. Probably why I never got into Squad and all that stuff. I don't know.
I've always been a fan of that since all the way back in, like, what was it, 1942?
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the day. You know, that's another one that's bugged me as far as, like, you talk about stagnation in the video game industry in general. Like, I think it's sad that we have something like BattleBit that is a better
Battlefield.
It's better Battlefield
than Battlefield
than
2042. Like, and
it's crazy, dude.
The graphics are there.
Yeah, but like, it's, you know, and the fallback on, you know, I think me and you talked one day, had a long talk about this, how, like, it's weird. Fear, I don't know. I assume we're all about the same age.
Same age as the streets.
Okay. And so, like, I late 90s, early 2000s, right? Everything seemed to be on the trajectory of, like, bigger.
Mm-hmm.
More fighting, you know, PlanetSide 2 level type stuff, you know, going that way. And then, like, late 20, you know, and then in 2010, somewhere it took a turn where everything is so focused down to the, like, a fire team level, 4 or 5 people. And nobody, like, seems to be trying to break. Well, there's a couple, and that seemed Star Citizen being one of them, but we all know how that went.
Yeah.
Well, it's still going, Grease. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We don't know how it went because it's still going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a, you know, fun segue. The community Grease and I used to belong to, Fear, had over 6 figures invested into Star Citizen.
Oh shit.
Yeah, in ships. Like, it was a meme in our community, because when Star Citizen first came out, we went at it hard. Like, this is going to be a cool game. Look at it. You know, we didn't understand it's going to be 10, 12 years in the fucking future. And so a lot of people invested early on, and we built an entire, like, divisional officer team around. I think we had, I want to say it was, like, close to 50, 60 people. Like, these weren't people that were planning to play the game. These were people who were planning to administrate paperwork to help people play the game. Like, hey, we're going to write down how we play. We're going to conduct trainings. And a lot of them came over to Arma because they're like, well, this is a simulation game, and you can teach us how to do basic tactics. Which were kind of where like Grease and I started becoming friends, because I did a lot of, I'm very grateful for it because I never really understood it, but I did a lot of training early on with people where I'm going to go on, you know, I'm going to open up I have a few military books, training books, you know, drill exercise books in my library. Plus, obviously, the internet is a thing. So we were like, well, how are we going to do a search and rescue? Plus, I have my own real life experience from emergency services. Not the same as combat, but, you know, I understand navigation and survivalness and survival in the wilderness. learning to teach that taught me more about those subjects than I'll ever know. Than I ever I'd say than I ever thought I would know. Which brings me back to kind of, have you ever thought about teaching people on stream, Fear?
Yeah. Teaching people's fun. I like teaching people stuff.
That was a great, I know that was an easy breakup for me for content, but it's always hard because the person you're teaching isn't a content creator. So they don't necessarily know what you're going for, how you're going for it. But sometimes that spontaneity and randomness can be beautiful, but it's also chaotic and hard to, well, what are we exactly doing here, right? If you have to sit there and spend 40 minutes walking through woods with somebody, it's a cool video. And then you go back and cut it and you're like, oh, this is 40 minutes of woods discussion, and it's dense and it makes sense for the person playing it, but it's so hard for everybody else to extrapolate on.
Well, that's like one of the issues that you run into. Like that I always ran into cutting up an Arma video or a Hell Let Loose video, because there's those long periods where you're moving from point A to point B. You know, you have, depending on how long you live, the 5-10 minutes of action, and then you got a long, you know, and Hell Let Loose, it's, you know, depending on how their guys are doing, it could be another 5-10 minute walk to where you're going. Or if you got a tiger tank and you're driving from the back, you know, and some of those maps, especially if your team's doing very well, it's 20-minute drive just to get back to the front. So you have to figure out how to cut that up.
Well,
that's a creative problem, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Just sitting there being like, man, where are the cuts? I feel like just the more you do it, the better you get, though, right? Like, how many videos did you say you've uploaded to YouTube? Everything you've done combined.
I think I was at the 200 mark, maybe more.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, it's not the people that like, I uploaded 5 videos and my channel didn't grow. Like, well, are you a gaming channel? Yeah, and sorry, you're gonna need to upload a lot. It's,
yeah,
you know, unless you're a banger editor, or you are just, you have, you know, there's just some people that have that personality that doesn't matter. Like, they don't need to edit themselves. They can be, I know he got in early. I don't necessarily want to besmirch him. I'm not trying to say that. Tyler One is a great example of somebody who I think does almost everything technically wrong you could do to stream. Right? He has shitty mic quality. He doesn't really care about his audio levels, it seems like, half the time. You know, his camera falls off and breaks. He does a lot of, he's like a workout and league streamer and like just chatting guy.
That's his brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like XQC is the same way.
Yeah, that's their brand. Just like you're the meme guy.
Yep. And it took a while.
It's just you don't have to be the meme guy. Like I say that as a meme. I say it as like when people like look at you, that's like, oh, okay. Like you can make serious stuff, but
I like being a 50-50, and I like
yeah, exactly.
I've been being more confident.
You have a good touch on the pulse, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Like more than I do. There are memes of like I have no idea what that fucking meme is, bro. Like I don't know if I'm just old or I'm just not in the loop. You know, I don't even know. Like I don't get the riz and all these like new lingo terms. I'm just like, man, I must be getting old, man. I don't know.
Well, I guess speaking of memes, I got my first. I'm pretty sure it was a shadow ban on my second channel.
Let's go. GG's.
I uploaded a video.
Okay, folks.
Immediately, just analytics dropped to 0 for 24 hours. Like 0 views, clicks on anything on the channel. Like I had some clicks, right? But it's like it dropped from, you know, maybe I'm getting maybe about like 10,000 views every 48 hours, and it dropped down to maybe like 150. And I'm like,
yes,
okay,
that feels good.
So let's go delete some recent videos and see which one this is.
Yeah.
And the one it turned out being is the one that I understand why there's some very not safe content in there, but I just go, why not just, like, I flagged the video restriction. In my opinion, that shouldn't restrict my channel, but you know, YouTube is a Oh, that's the other thing, because like it's, well, I don't want to go too deep in that yet, but so I ended up uploading it to Reddit. This is something you and I have talked about. It's like if I already made the content, I'm just going to repurpose it to a platform that, screw it, they'll let me run it. And Tarkov memes, the subreddit, is one of the most beautiful and densest people on the because they will rip everything apart. Because if you do, like, I don't get engagement on my YouTube videos, just go post them on Reddit somewhere. I guarantee you'll get some feedback. It's not going to be, you're not going to love it. It's not going to be nice. You're going to have people shitting on you, but we're going to get a hard and fast truth. I've been finding that out more and more on Reddit. It has its purpose.
All of Reddit's like that.
Yeah, Reddit has purpose.
The Armor one was like that. Hell Let Loose is like that.
What was where my original content creation was on Reddit, where I used to do all my creative writing and picture design and D&D work and stuff. So,
I have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
In terms of, this could be both YouTube, outside YouTube, but like, what are your goals with what you get? Like, you have a soccer podcast. Like, what's the goal? Like, what is your end goal if everything can work out the way you want it to? What do you see yourself doing?
With the soccer podcast, it would be doing that full time, as well as hopefully doing that full time would also open me up to working more on the gaming side as well. But we'd have to see how the soccer thing went out. The main goal of that is just and the base level knowledge for Americans our age for the sport is not very high. And so the goal is actually to try to help elevate the knowledge level it's more focused on teaching the parents the game, because every time I go to watch a game, it's pretty clear that their knowledge on the rules is not where it needs to be. So that's what that is. And then if I got back to the YouTube, I have to think about that some more. Like I said, I'm still playing with that.
Oh yeah, it's a deep question. That's why I asked it.
Yeah.
Like you ever heard of B-ball breakdown?
I have not.
He's he does what you're talking about, but basketball.
Okay.
And he'll look at plays. I've been watching this guy for years, man. I don't know if he has a team now. He's just he's like a coach for like kids and stuff. You know what I mean? But he just has the great fundamentals of basketball down. You look at NBA plays, break down plays and stuff for like the average person to understand. And I think that's actually pretty huge, because soccer in America is not great, right?
Well, it's not I think it's great among, like, if
it's not understood.
If you're under 13,
right?
It's really understand soccer, because it's run around and kick a ball. That's soccer.
Yeah.
And if you're under 13, or you're just in that, like, I want to play a game, soccer is really conceptual to understand. But then when you get into the intricacies of actually playing the game, understanding the difference between like a striker and I'm trying to remember the position.
Center mid, left wing, right wing.
I've been always more of a hockey fan, but like soccer to me has always been a game that's fun, because the action continues to move, like hockey.
Yeah.
The action
I
hate football.
It's funny you bring that up, because and you bring up basketball also, is the fundamental level. If you break soccer, hockey, and basketball down to like their base fundamental levels as far as the teamwork is very similar across all three sports. I typically point at one of those three sports, because odds are here in America, somebody will know one of those three sports. Hockey and soccer and basketball at their base fundamental levels are built on triangles.
Right.
I'm pretty sure hockey is as well. And all three of them are about moving the ball around, or the puck, to shift the team where you want them until you can get a line of sight to attack.
Yeah.
All three of them are at their base fundamental. The movement of the object to score is almost identical.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing to do.
I think it's awesome. I didn't actually know you were doing a soccer podcast. I knew
But
you were into soccer.
I want to say
Yeah.
the thing about soccer. It's I can't remember who was talking about it, but there's a big, from a marketing standpoint of like TV and stuff like that. The reason why soccer isn't broadcasted enough is advertisement issues.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. You're 100% correct there.
yeah.
I guess I don't understand how is soccer.
Okay, so because let's say baseball, football, hockey, basketball, there's stops, there's timeouts, and there's periods. Soccer is just two halves of nonstop 45-minute action. So it's very hard to get advertisements just in that 15-minute window between the two halves versus every time there's a timeout, every time it's a dead ball, every time there's a foul. You can go to a replay and get those, free throws taken somewhere else. But there's always ads being placed everywhere you're looking when you're watching every other sport but soccer.
How's that different from NASCAR though? Because NASCAR doesn't stop.
NASCAR, you can look away, and the what's going to happen is not really that big of a deal. You know what I mean? There might be a crash, but you can highlight that crash, and then it'll be like, oh. But like even if you look at like Formula One racing, it's really interesting because you won't watch the same car. It's you'll see the cars go around, they'll pan around the stadium, commercial. They're still racing, and then they'll like, okay, this guy passed this time, and you'll see the change and stuff. But that's pretty much like all it is. And it's really interesting when I heard about that about soccer. I'm like, damn, that is actually true.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy true.
And that's also one of the reasons that I was listening. Whoever I heard talking about that was also pointing as to that's one of the reasons Americans have trouble getting into soccer versus lots of other sports is because we're so we have such a short attention spans that it's hard for us to sit there for a full 45 minutes and watch versus like baseball. Okay, innings done, I can go to the bathroom, get a drink, do whatever I got to do. Football, okay, timeout. All right, cool. I'm going to go run and do what I got to do.
Beer. Yeah.
Out of curiosity,
Same thing.
You brought up short attention span. So the thing that pushed me to getting into and even looking into YouTube Shorts, which is very funny because my Shorts channel is growing very exponentially now, and I'm super happy about it. But Greece is the only reason I ever ended up making YouTube Shorts, or at least got into it as early as
I've beaten you up hard on that.
Like when my YouTube channel started growing, Greece is like, "What are you doing right, man? Like, do you know about shorts? Let's talk about YouTube Shorts." I mean, he probably sent me close to like 50 DMs in the span of a few months. Like we were just, let's talk about shorts, and I'm like, I literally have no idea what you're talking. Like the first time he said the word shorts to me, I had no idea what he was talking about. Like I didn't understand that YouTube Shorts was even a category. Like, or how to, and then I looked at it, I'm like, okay, you just put a hashtag shorts and do a vertical cut. All right, cool. But, and I didn't understand that like you can't render it in 1920 by 1080. It has to actually be rendered in 1080 by 1920 or similar. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, why doesn't it just take I thought it would, the way I originally thought shorts worked, and I understand this is really stupid because I didn't look into it at all. I just like, I'm going to make a couple videos and upload it and see if I can figure it out myself. I thought YouTube Shorts would take a video that was tagged as shorts and just vertical cut it for you. Because I thought that made sense. Like, it's just going to take the center of the video and short it. If you had more in there, you can have more in there and you can watch it in the wide view. It didn't take long after I uploaded. I think I uploaded like 4 videos, and I'm like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, because like one of them worked and then 3 of them didn't. I don't understand why the one worked, because whatever. But Greece was the main driver of that, and it's very weird to me to think that I would not be where I am in my editing. Because for me, I have dove headfirst into shorts and vertical cuts. Because it is a great way to get immediate feedback on if your idea is stupid or good.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I was beating you up so hard about it is because I always thought your content fit very well for shorts. it's very, especially like you could almost take the long form video and cut it down into smaller sections, and get shorts out. Like I always thought because you're the meme guy, as the joke is, the meme content fits shorts very well. Like what I found, especially when I was doing my long form versus my the short form, it was two different things. Like the whole, I don't think the whole shorts, especially when I watch them, the shorts of, I've gone and shot 10 guys in a minute. Like I don't find that interesting, and I don't think it does very well. What I think does very well is
video.
Yeah, is the jokey, funny stuff is what I always have found worked well for me.
Well,
like I think one of my best shorts that I think is on my channel was a bunch of us in Arma just making a stupid joke or something like that.
I think your biggest one, if I remember correctly, wasn't it the one of the rocket strikes going on? Probably. Those are always a big hit in Arma. So if you know what MLRS systems are, Fear at all, God, trying to think of how to describe this. I just want to say like a BM-21, but I have been yelled at multiple times in my life that I'm not supposed to just assume that people understand what a military designation of a vehicle is. I'm the asshole in a video game that's like, hey, look, there's a BTR coming at us. I'm like, it's not a BTR. That's an LAV-25. What are you talking about?
Yeah, jerk, dummy.
It's
duh.
Right. I've learned to tone it down, and I always be like, man, it's not a BTR. You can just say APC if you don't know the actual designation, right? Because then everybody knows it's a personnel carrier, and you can just say if it's got a name. But the Arma stuff for you, I'm curious, Fear, because your shorts are always. You have one really great short that I remember and identifying with. I gotta up now because I'm blanking on it. But how you're somebody who doesn't really do a lot of shorts. You kind of from my understanding anyway, cut like a part of your long video for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I uploaded last year 320 shorts. I was trying to do them every single day. But yeah, shorts were always the thing that came first, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just starting to get into more long form stuff, but it's always been a shorts. Shorts has always been the way to go for me.
What's funny is I'm the exact opposite, because I think I discovered you first by you doing shorts, but where I saw one of your first videos. But for me, I was the exact opposite. I did like all the long form stuff. Now I'm like, oh, shorts, and like Grease said, it does. Shorts fit me beautifully, and it's been funny because I moved back in with my family. They've been watching me edit, like, cause they just come and hang out in my room while I'm editing now, and it's kind of fun, especially like when my niece is watching me edit, which I can't edit the videos I want to in front of her, so we're like editing. And we're editing, like, my brother does a lot of GoPro footage on his 4-wheeler, so I've been like.
That's cool. Dude, I would love to do stuff like that.
That's actually, I'm gonna be doing a lot of GoPro stuff this year, and I'll be doing a lot of IRL stuff this year, and that's probably the hardest content I think I'm gonna be. Filming a game and filming your screen is so different than trying to figure out a camera angle in real life, and oh god, perspective is difficult. Like, I thought I understood it because gaming, and yeah, it is a hard one. It is a hard one to do IRL. I guess the point I was going to with the shorts. Oh god, I'm blanking on the one I watched of yours that was really good. It was one of your Battlefield ones originally that popped up because I made a Battlefield 2042.
Is it called BF5 is better than BF 2042?
I think it might be.
That's like starting from me shooting a rocket at a building.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that one, it's so weird. That one is consistently like every 48 hours getting like 300 views. It's like almost a year old, like consistently, nonstop. Dude, I love it. I'll take it.
the one I get that consistently gets views every day on my main channel, and I'll say it upsets me. It's just I don't necessarily made a really bad tutorial on how to get max fence rep. What is it? Like not even a bad, like just a showcase. And I got so much hate on this video, and you might laugh at this. I talked about how getting max fence was great because you'd be able to get access to ammo from fence. And the round I decided to showcase FearJBaller was 50 BMG. The collective backlash I got, just, no, this is bad. Why would you tell people to buy this ammo? I'm like, I don't know. People are buying it for 1,100 rubles on the flea market. I don't.
Yeah.
Some people like it. That
Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah. But back to Battlefield. So you said you never really got into the big ones, but I'm assuming you probably played like Bad Company.
I mean, I played them all, right? But I always ended up playing like TDM, like Squad Conquest, the smaller game modes.
Did I ever? I know Reese kind of knows about this. Did I ever tell you about my experience with Battlefield 42 yet? I don't think I have. So Battlefield 1942, I modded and scripted for. I was actually one of the people who got gravity working in that game because, believe it or not, there is no gravity in Battlefield 1942, which is on planes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not. It's fucking it's really weird.
It's really jank. So we put gravity on it so you would accelerate really fast if you went into a dive. And
love it.
So much fun. I played in a 10,000 strong person community, and ran a good chunk of it for a little bit. Not all 10,000, obviously, but it was back when game servers used to sponsor gaming communities. So we were actually we were sponsored by a gaming server host. So like remember, like if you know like Host Havoc, that wasn't them, but like Host Havoc's a popular one. Imagine them sponsoring a gaming group nowadays. Like it'd be probably unheard of. But we played. We had a Europe unit and we had a North American unit. And we would play 2 12-hour matches in Battlefield a week. And competitively, you would rotate in and out throughout the day because I was one of the few people doing. I wanted to step up into commander roles more often than not because I'm sure you've noticed it when I've jumped on your stream and we have a squad going. I'm not shy when it comes to commanding and telling people like I think we should do this instead of this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, easy.
And I was very good at that in Battlefield. And it's very weird to think about a time in my life, but there was about maybe 2 years straight where for 12 hours every Saturday, I played competitively in Battlefield 1942. And I look back at that and just, if I had never had that experience, I don't think I would have ever made it to Tarkov. Like, cause that's where I learned all of my soft tactical skill. Soft tactical skills. Which I guess is where I kind of have a question on. When you guys are building soft skills for video editing, content creation, like just kind of a general, I guess, question to end on here before we go to an outro. Unless one of you have something you want to talk about. I'm curious. Oh, now I'm losing my point. But I'm curious as to. I lost my point. One of you have a point?
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, the stagnation stuff.
Yeah.
It as far as the gaming industry, I'll leave it. I guess I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm kind of disappointed as a whole because it feels like the gaming industry as a whole is stagnant as ever living crap. Rick, you brought up you said something earlier where you said, "Hey, you asked Fear." You said, do you see a game on the horizon that you're excited about? And Fear, I believe you said no.
Yeah,
and
it's like
I'm the same. I'm the same way right now. I cannot and don't know. And every time I look at something that I think has potential, I get excited. Like it ends up dropping me, and it feels like it's because we've lost it's like what just happened with Squad. Fear, I don't know if you've seen it, but Rec, I know you've probably seen it with the whole emotes.
I know about the
stuff.
emote DLC.
Like we're talking about a tactical shooter, and you're putting emotes in the game. Like it's
like
the gaming
Fortnite
industry.
Emotes.
Like Fortnite. Like the gaming industry as a whole, in my eyes, the creatives and the technical guys have lost control, and now the money guys are taking over. So everything's lowest common denominator now, minus something like Tarkov or some of the other ones that we discussed in this.
Ready or Not or something. Those other
Ready or Not was something that reignited me for a while.
It's a hard game. It needs so much. I love it. It just needs so much damn work. Like it.
But
it's so great. It's just very janky.
Yeah, but it's the big games companies right now are just lowest common denominator, and they, in my eyes, they've lost their niche, and they're going after everybody. And I feel like when you have a game and you go after everybody, you are now going after nobody. You've lost your core group. I think that's what's happened with Battlefield specifically. They've lost their core audience. They lost their core direction. EA as a whole has.
What if we made Battlefield, but it was Call of Duty with bot lobbies? 2042 was like, or not 2042. 2042.
I love 2042, but
it was
not 2042. Yeah.
Like it was fun, and it was really fun. Like it's a fun couch co-op game. That's what I look at 2042. But I look at that and go, like, I will never take this game seriously.
Oh, I meant 2142. Sorry.
And it's but I remember my question. But good. Continue. Sorry.
Well, that's kind of was my point. Like, I don't know how y'all feel on that, and I'm glad Nikita is the way he is, in that he's very uncompromising in his vision of what he wants. Nice Guy has that quote he's playing before every video now of, you have to damage your brain a little bit with our game or something like that. And I'm glad he's the way he is. And, I feel like because you have the creative in charge. Say what you will about how long it's taken to do him, but I think Chris Roberts is kind of the same way. So I'll give him a little bit of slack, but I'd actually be interested to hear what y'all think on that.
I mean, I'm in the same boat with you. I don't have a general disagreement, especially when it comes to Nikita for Battle State. Chris Roberts, I think, just bit off more than he can chew, whereas Nikita had people fall into his lap. So it's a bit different, right? Star Citizen went after the big money. Tarkov landed in it. And then I compare that to the person I would compare to Nikita the most as another relevant game dev would not be Chris Roberts. It would be I always get his name wrong. I want to say Steve. It's not Sondheim. It's Steven something else. He is the lead developer and lead creative lead on Ashes of Creation, which is, I don't want to go too deep into that game as far, because I can't speak as an authority on it. But that game is him trying to add stakes back into this. And this is something we talked about last time on the podcast with Senjo, because he was a younger gamer. About, like, we're getting older. So how much of this is just, like, when we look at games as stagnation or they're not challenging, have we just reached a point where there's, I don't want to say games that are beneath you, and I don't like to phrase it that way, but like, if I go play a video game with my niece, right? We want to play Super Smash Brothers. I'm not going to pull out my full gamer skill to play against her. But in the same vein, like, when I go play a game, like when I shut off Tarkov and went and played Call of Duty, is a great example. Like, the SBMM really hurt me after probably about 3 or 4 hours of playing. But, that first 3 to 4 hours, as I was like grinding up to the, hey, you're only going to be queued in with people with 10.0 KDs now. Go F yourself. It was a very rewarding, or not rewarding, it was just a very like simple process. And then it became, this is now impossible. So we're going to shove you back to everybody's a cakewalk. And then we'll shove you back to you getting your ass kicked. I'd rather just get my ass kicked. Like, to be completely honest, like so I guess
SBMM, yeah, it's a whole other thing. Yeah, it's annoying.
Oh god, do you know what SBMM is, Grease?
Yeah.
Do you know how
I've seen
ridiculous they went with it?
Yeah, I play it from time to time when I shut off my brain, and every time I kind of hit that high level, it's like, all right, it's time to walk away for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And it's not because like I'm upset with getting killed. It's just it feels like I play it and I go, this is a very bad system because I want consistency. I miss the old. So like I have a brother that we game a crap ton with on consoles. So we did a lot of the split screen stuff. We were the brothers who at a certain point were like, all right, we're gonna shove a piece of cardboard in between the screen, so you can't see the bottom and you can't see and I can't see the top of the screen because we're doing the old split screen stuff. And when you get your ass kicked by your brother, or you kick your brother's ass for like an hour in a row in a video game, and then you both keep trying it, there is some circular things you learn that are problematic. So I could describe this. So when you're playing against somebody, right? Like if you only learn to play against one person, the moment you go play against somebody else, get your ass kicked. So like I learned a lot playing with my brother, but when me and him started online gaming more, we were like, okay, we have some really good soft skills, but we really don't understand the tactical element as well as we thought we did because we were so used to playing against each other.
Right.
I'll go ahead.
No, I said right.
So my whole viewpoint on soft skills, and I guess question to you guys is, when it comes to approaching soft skill development, and I'm assuming you guys know what I mean by soft skills. I can explain it if you need me to.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I'm assuming yeah, go ahead.
So there's skills you don't even think about doing. Tying a door is a great example. I don't look at this as a hard skill, right? Like it's not difficult for you to go in and every time you clear a door, you clear both corner, you clear both angles, right?
So hard skills are like mechanical, soft skills are like gameplay understanding.
If you were in the business world, soft skill would be like you understand how to type in Microsoft Word and save a document. Like you go, that's not a skill, but it is because there are people in the world who have no concept of how to create a document and save it in Microsoft Word, which sounds batshit insane until you work in IT and have to teach people how to use Microsoft Word. So just one of the reasons I do not make training content on my YouTube channel anymore for right now, because I did it too much as a career and it killed the passion from me. I'm getting some of it back, but so when it comes to soft skills, you guys dedicate any of your like editing time to it? Because I can go first on this real quick as an example. So every time I boot up my editor, I click on a button I've never seen before. I click on an effect and use it that I've never used before. That way I might not know how to use it, but it's there and I understand what it is. So like, I guess, how do you guys develop or do you even pull that into your thinking?
Oh, you Grease? Do you do that?
I do it as needed, right? Mm-hmm. So generally that comes about for me, like I'll see somebody do something in a video or something, and then I go learn it. Then it's just like the example was an Anastasia video with the whole reason I made that video, to be honest, was because I saw what Soviet Womble was doing with the moving text on screen and staying focused on a certain point, like a helicopter in the sky, following that helicopter versus just having it, it's you stay in your prescriptive and that it moved across the sky. You followed it in the sky. The whole reason I made that video was so I could learn to do that type of stuff.
Yeah, I would say researching is 100% soft skill development.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't click on something like you do. Like that would probably be a good idea, but it's all I guess as needed. Like, do I like if I have an idea that I don't know how to convey, I'll start looking up stuff like that, But I don't know. I feel like I'm just in a weird spot in terms of like what the hell I'm trying to figure out what's gonna work.
That's one of the reasons I took a step back and went. It was one of the reasons I went to the shorts content, but it's also I wrote down a piece of paper one day. I was like, I want to upload 3 shorts videos a day, which you upload a lot of bad content, but very quickly you start kind of, and cutting back to Grease's point earlier, I have trouble understanding when and where to cut because I'm cutting me and my friends having fun. So to me, the whole thing is enjoyable and the whole thing is contextually funny. And I enjoy hearing, like a great example is if you have like 5 people laugh after a video or after like somebody tells a joke or something funny happens, and you have laughs for 15 seconds. You want, like, there's always a struggle because like I want to hold it in, but it took me watching other people's videos and realizing like ones that were working, like you can realize that you don't need the extra laughs because people understand, yeah, there's 18 people playing this game. I don't need to hear 18 people laugh at this joke. and it was such a weird, it's a weird concept to me to still kind of get over.
One of the rules I generally live by on that was where you think you should cut, generally you want to cut more than that, is how I kind of lived. So it's like, okay, if I want to cut at 5 seconds, I should probably think about cutting at 3 seconds.
Well, it's funny to me because like we look at it that way because we're looking at it from an editing perspective. And maybe I'm wrong in misunderstanding how you aim at your content, Fear, but from my understanding, you've always been aimed at more, I'm looking for one clip when you play. And so there's not really, I mean, there is a cut, right? There's one cut on either end. But that's kind of the end point of that, really, for like you're sifting for the right clip or you're jotting it down when you get it.
In the beginning, yeah. Because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just like, I'm good at video games. I poop on nerds. What's the best way to do that? I just played all day, just recording all day to get like one lucky like triple no scope, and I just like, oh, it's cool, and then I'll upload that. And then it got to the point of like, what else can I do there? Where can I cut stuff? And now my videos, they're sometimes 2 videos put together. They just make them look like one video, and it works. Like no one fucking tells the difference. Or it's like some stuff from like a wipe ago no one really fucking knows about. And I've just gotten better at just like being a liar. I don't know.
I mean, that's an editor, and I think I heard this said best by. Like I'm blanking on it. He has like a weird, and he's one of those Nordic editors, but he brought up the fact of when editing and cutting. Oh god, now I'm blanking on. Yeah, this is what happens when I'm.
It's fine.
The podcast, I'm sick as shit, which is why
I can keep talking about. Can I elaborate a little more? Like that's how it was. Now, like you said, like how do I go about it? You kind of asked that question.
That's where I was going with it. It's like, how do you? I guess I'm always kind of. Well, me and you had this discussion on the other podcast, but you have a lot of confidence in just I'm gonna throw this out there and upload. With clips.
Okay, so it started off like that. Like, yeah, I uploaded every single day on April 1st, 2021, every single day till April 1st, 2022. I didn't miss a day, except when I had COVID. I upload every single day. And then it kept going all the way until right now. I pretty much haven't missed an upload except for like when I was moving. But I started moving the uploads instead of just shorts. It was like I just need to put something on YouTube, either a stream, a regular video, or a short. So then the shorts kind of died down and everything started just like changing around. But then it was just like, that is extremely it's effective, but it's not efficient by any means. Playing all day to get one thing is not efficient. You know, and it's like I don't have 30,000 people watching me to make that happen. Like to make that playing all day worth it, right? Which is like what Landmark does. He'll play 10 hours a day, get 3 raids, and then he'll post those 3 videos, or have somebody post those 3 videos. You know what I mean? But he played 12 hours to get those 3 good videos. That's his content machine. And that's how he works for YouTube. But that's not going to work for me. So I'm always thinking about like, what is the next best step, right? So I'm a real big fan of Cyberpunk, and I really wanted to create the lore of Cyberpunk. And I think before the new update comes out, I fell down a rabbit hole, and I just fell in love with like the universe of Cyberpunk. It's probably my favorite universe like of all time, and because it goes back to like the 1980s, like our universe 1980s was like a pen and paper RPG game the guy made. He would like drive down like the coast of California, like think about the cities and the place of like Night City is a real city on the coast of California. Like the layout's pretty much almost exactly the same. Not the city planning, but like the geographical location is pretty much like real. And that was just like I got sucked in. So I'm like, how could I create something cool like that? What can I do? And I wanted to create the lore of Cyberpunk. Talk about who the founder was, like who created the city, all the war and stuff like that. Because there's like novels that go into that book. So that's kind of like stepping away from being just effective, more efficient. How can I take my time and be more efficient? That's probably the road that I would think about going down. But also on top of that, by also just being a dummy and just playing video games and trying to get clips at the same time, right? Like I'm always going to do that. I'm always going to have that rolling in the background just to have something, but I want to be more effective. I want to be more efficient. I want something to bring more value to somebody instead of be like, that's a cool clip, and then forget about me. I want them to be like, oh, that's the guy that posted that one cool lore video. What other cool things is he gonna post? Instead of like, oh, it's just that guy. If you look at Shitterville, the guy. You guys know who Shitterville is. I know Rec does. Grease.
Not off the top of my head, but I'll go find him after this.
He's prolific YouTube shorts. Tarkov.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's like when you see any Tarkov YouTube short, it has a fuck ton of views. It's him or his buddy, and
he doesn't edit his videos, by the way. At least I don't think he does. He has Shitterville.
Oh, somebody else edits his videos for him.
He has an editor.
Oh, so fucking lucky bastard. Okay.
So, because I was on their podcast. Well, it's kind of podcast. He was doing a Tarkov town hall thing for a while, and him and his editor were literally interviewing people. I was like, I didn't realize you had an editor.
So yeah, like that's kind of like my goal, right? Like that's how I think about it. Like how can I be more effective and more efficient at the same time? So I've taught myself how to make a short extremely quickly. I've taught myself how to be good enough at Tarkov to make shorts that are interesting to watch, and I've taught myself how to do that within an hour. Like I can edit the short, have it be done, and have it uploaded within about 2 hours. Start to finish done, and then back.
On the making a vertical a format. What programs do y'all use to get your capture your footage?
Shadowplay or Streamlabs, but I generally prefer Shadowplay.
I use Streamlabs on the second PC.
Okay.
Recording all day.
Have y'all seen the newest plugin for OBS that Atrium put out that Harris Heller just put a video out on?
The eye one, where like they leave your eyes moving up or whatever, or looking at the camera?
No.
That was a NVIDIA thing, actually, but no, I haven't heard of this thing you're talking about, Grace.
It's a plugin that adds a vertical scene next to your regular scene, right? So while you're doing your regular stream or recording your regular video, it also has the ability to have a vertical format in it at the same time, where you can push a button and it'll capture your vertical format and how you want it set up. And also you can stream that to like TikTok.
Or I was wondering how you
YouTube, or like YouTube, whatever vertical format when you would typically TikTok, and also be streaming to YouTube or what's the name of it? YouTube or Twitch or whatever. as well.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, if you could post a link.
I'll get it for you.
After all this, it's really cool.
Cool. I downloaded it actually today, and this was part of what's kind of reignited my whole.
Hell yeah!
Because it's learning new things. That's part of why I do a lot of stuff is learning new things.
Just learning new stuff.
Yeah, it's reignited me again a little bit.
I feel we all have different reasons why we do it, but it's all makes us sit here, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes us sit here, and that makes you. I mean, it kind of ties it back to what we were talking about earlier, but I always get there's so many moving pieces to all of this that you don't necessarily know. Like, did I make the video wrong? Did I make the thumbnail wrong? Did I not tag it right? Was the title wrong? And I guess because you had talked about ads, or we're talking about ads, kind of. I tried playing with the monetization settings really hard, as in, like, I tried to go, I'm not going to monetize a video, pre 1,000 views. And I was like, okay, that's a bit unrealistic. So I did, or I won't say unrealistic, but like you're not getting 100 views on somebody. So you're like, okay, should I just leave it unmonetized or monetize it after it does its initial push?
You always monetize it, always.
Well, that's where I came back to. There was, I think, a stretch of I did 3 months where I literally went through and unmonetized every video on my channel. I wanted to see if there would be a difference in the algorithm push if I was monetized versus not monetized. And so when I was like uploading videos, I was like, okay, does this get pushed out more or less? And what I found is that if you do not monetize your videos, YouTube does not like to push your video out.
Yeah, why would they?
Right, because they don't make money off of it.
If you're unmonetized and your video does well, guess what? They slap an ad on it and you don't get any of the money.
Yep. So, well, that's what happened to my big one that blew me up, and I was super pissed. I was never able to cash in on that one, but
yep. Missed like a $500 check. Would have been nice.
Yeah, 700K views. That'd be right there.
But I don't know. Back to like a rant, and I could end on this rant if anyone wants to talk about anything else after that. I'm free. But we come here, we sit together. Is there anything that we can do together to help each other grow? Because if we look at stuff like Twitch is a kingmaker system. The people at the top get richer, and the people at the bottom stay there. 98% of people on Twitch don't make minimum wage. You know what I mean? And I think it's like 90% of even the Twitch partners are making less than minimum wage. And so it's like everyone has their own communities, everyone has their own Discords, everyone has their own channels, everyone has their own merch, everyone has their own everyone has their own everything, and we're all fighting for the small trickle pool of stuff. Well, the people at the top are just sucking it in. You know what I mean? I've always thought about like finding a group of people who just believe in the idea of creating a community so strong that it holds everybody up together.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well,
like to me, that just makes sense. This always makes sense.
Yeah, what's funny is Grease and I literally were a part of a community that did that. So we had the community I was talking about that we did Star Citizen with. We had a lot of content creators in there, some pretty decent big one size too. Trying to think of Zoran the Bear might be somebody you recognize.
Yeah.
And
he was part of why I joined that community.
Yep. And then Demo Man was the other big one. Which he's somebody I'm trying to get on the podcast because he is a pleasure to talk to, and he is a community builder. But
I've never actually interacted with either of them.
Zoran was an asshole, but deservedly, because he's like, I'm trying to make content. Give me a goddamn thermal. Like, can I not give you a thermal, man? You're gonna ruin the mission for everybody else. It's like, I need a thermal for my video. Okay. Well, funny you mention it, Fear, because that's actually. Are you still in talks with Phalanx, Grease?
Me, yes.
Okay, because
I haven't talked to him in a while, but I do talk to him a good bit.
Well, yeah, like what could we do? Because I feel like we haven't answered the question. Like,
yeah,
what could we do together?
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, that's where Rec was going. Phalanx had an idea for something along these lines.
So Phalanx was designing something that did API call-ins, and to be honest, my brother is going ham on Discord bot coding, so I might just throw this at him to see if he wants to he started using ChatGPT to start coding in Discord, which is insane to me, but whatever.
It's funny because Top, you remember Top has been using Chat to code too.
Well, I want to keep on this point for Fear to get to what he's trying to ask about. So Phalanx was designing a way to combine Discords, specifically to actually help with this problem. I know of already a way to do it because I tied into Battlestate's Discord. So whenever Battlestate posts a thing, for example, and they're like, "Hey, there's a Tarkov update," I get a Tarkov update on my Discord that pushes out, so people don't have to go to Tarkov's Twitter if they don't, or what do you call it, Discord, if they don't want to. And what Phalanx was designing was a way to cross-share events on Discord. And it is the focus of my next year, I can tell you, is actually getting events and groups and planning going. I've been setting up an Arma 3 server and getting a lot of my old contacts out of the Rolodex. Because the problem is when you go to play some of these games, you just need people. But for a direct one, and this is something me and you were talking about, and what I was going to end the podcast on, I completely forgot until you mentioned something to me. Fear and I we're talking about doing a call to action video, Grease, where we play offline Tarkov, but against each other as an arena. So we were going to try to go, hey, let's tag both of our communities and bring them on. And I feel what you mean about the Discord, and I'm still I know everybody loves a Discord, but there's got to be a better way to have I look at gaming communities, and I don't think a web page is necessarily the greatest way to go, and like having the old forum boards and stuff like that, because if you're at that point, why not just attach yourself to somebody who already has the infrastructure? But I know, I don't know if that answers your question. If you have a couple other things I can kind of jump off with, but that was my next thing, was planning that call to action video.
I like that. That was a good idea.
And then after that, I know because he's starting it back up, and I was going to try it this time again with him. Noise Guy has a squad Sherpa program for Tarkov.
I saw that come up today.
Yeah, I'm a part of that, and I stepped away because I don't think I ever told him this, but Grease, you'll understand it. He was my rebound from PWC, was Noise Guy. I'm like, I'm gonna join your community and help build it for you and do things. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't do this while I'm like, he's a rebound girl. I need to step away and focus on myself for a bit. Like, I felt bad because I was like, I dumped a bunch of shit on him and then kind of left. But he's busy as shit, so I doubt he even remembers me. So I know I was gonna be planning for Tarkov for the future, literally just going over and trying to do squad stuff this wipe.
Yeah,
I could always hit you up when I go to do those, because I think having the problem I had initially when I went over to Noise Guy's Discord, I love the people over there. They're great. They are all Timmies. I mean, it is. You're talking
Timmy Central.
Sub 100 hours Timmies sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to do that, because if you're going to sit down and stream for 3-4 hours,
you
want to stream with a group of Timmies for 3-4 hours? It's effective for them.
No.
Not for you.
It's not fun or effective for you at all.
I mean, and so, but for me, with the way I do content, right, where I shadow play and I only grab moments, now it's that works for me, and I want to get back into that. And that's always something where, it takes you out of your comfort zone for sure, and that's always something that can cause switch ups. And I agree with you on starting a community and starting something of content creators.
It's not even content creators, right? Because when you think about it like that, it's like just bringing a bunch of content creators in it. What it happens, it just becomes a Discord of people posting links to their own individual stuff.
Yes, and that's I guess I didn't want to mean it as like a describe content creators. I look at it in the sense of, when I mean content creators, I don't necessarily mean YouTube content creators. What I mean by that is, if you want to start off a group and I have been trying to find a way to grease wheels with certain people. No pun intended, grease. Of getting them kind of like having someone that knows server admin, right? Or a couple people for anytime you want to do that shit. Having a couple people that love doing pixel art design, right? They love doing the Photoshop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking about like when you're talking about an initial core group, I'm saying like if you're gonna target any kind of recruitment,
Right.
I target it to the people who give a shit.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then
Like for instance.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Sorry, I'm just excited. Go ahead.
Okay, why don't you go?
Oh,
Okay.
no, I realized I muted my mic. And then so in the second, I target people who actually want to show up.
Yeah.
Reciprocity. I must screw that word up. Reciprocity. Oh god. Reciprocal feelings are difficult to judge with YouTube fans, I've found, because you're always second guessing, like, are they here just because they want to hang out with me, or are they here because they actually are having fun in what we're doing? And
Right.
I want people, when I was talking about getting an Arma group going, I got into a fight with one of my friends that I played a lot of Arma 3 with, and a lot of PlanetSide 2 and stuff with, because he asked me, he's like, well, how many people are you looking at? I'm like, I don't care if 3 people show up or if 100 show up, because whoever shows up, I'm going to have fun with them. So it's irrelevant to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, there's a lot whenever you do group stuff, and it's something to definitely think about. I've been in a weird spot myself personally, because I like I said, I ran, I was not the top leader, but I was a high up leader in a 10,000 person strong community in BWC, the second community I helped run. We capped out at maybe 2,000 active members at like peak, and that was during PlanetSide 2, which was super fun. Oh my god, I had fun in this. Were you there for Battle for LA? No, you joined in Arma. So
Yeah, join the hour.
I really wish games would do this in the future. More game developers would do this. Sony Online Entertainment paid for people to fly out to California to in person play PlanetSide 2, while the rest of the community back them up virtually. Because it's a are you familiar with PlanetSide 2, Fear?
No.
It is. Actually, it might be a game for you to break up and try, because it's free to play. It is you might not like it because you don't like the Mascal stuff, but it is a futuristic, persistent war game, and the war does not end. Like, there's no way to end the war. It's constantly going, and it is a 1v1v1, as in factions. It's a 3-way war that is going on all the time. There's resource management, there's logistics, there's base building. There's big ass freaking carriers that fly through the sky that you can land aircraft on, and they take an hour to take down. Like concentrated hour of hundreds of people coordinating to take it down. That game, God, this is the problem I have sometimes when I'm losing points. You guys remember my original point was going here or no? Side 2.
We worked about community building.
Community building.
Yeah, community building.
Thank you. So, PlanetSide 2 was a very easy game to build a community in, because you had a shared goal and a shared purpose. And to Grease's point earlier about stagnation and community building with games, it's difficult to build a community around Tarkov because you can't be on all the time. If you're trying to build it yourself, then you go like, all right, let me get a couple people.
Well, that is true. That is true. Yeah. When I was moving, no one showed up at the Discord, but now we have like 10 people in there just waiting for me to come back. It's annoying, but okay. So I love to see the community thriving, and this is kind of like what I think the whole point of it is. Just like, hypothetically, why do we have three different Discords? Why do we have 8 different Discords if there's 8 of us here? Why don't we just have one? Instead of 400 people in each, we have 10,001. Like, doesn't that? And then like everybody's an admin who should be an admin. You have your own communities in there. You have your own channels and talk sections in there. Eventually, stuff's going to overlap. But if the main thing about a Discord, because I am so new to Discord, but the thing that I've noticed is that when I see people in a voice channel, that's how I know a Discord is actually alive. Either the general chat's moving, or there's hundreds of people using the voice channels, actually communicating, watching TV together, playing video games together, listening to podcasts together, recording podcasts together. It doesn't have to be like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be one specific thing.
Never thought about it, and I guess that way. And this is I'm also new to Discord. I fucking railed against Discord up until 2021.
It sounds like you still don't like it.
I laughed because me and him, I was there for a lot of these arguments, and I think I was the one arguing for Discord.
No, Discord's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic feature.
I must have wrote probably close to 50 pages. This is why Discord's a piece of shit program, and we should
I think I remember reading that.
But am I wrong though? Like is that?
No,
you're not.
You're not wrong.
Because I feel like it beats the Kingmaker system that all big content creators have.
But I don't.
We're no longer.
Well,
what's up?
I was gonna say the tricky part's the weeds. Like conceptually, it's a great idea. The problem is when there's a disagreement. Because if you don't, this is the problem I've always had with Clore.
What do you mean, like a disagreement on what?
So let's say, well, I guess Discord this organizes nice with the breakdown menus.
Yeah. So it's like we live in a multifamily. You know what I mean? Think about like a real estate property, multifamily. It's a bunch of units inside of a box. Everybody stays on their fucking unit. And then, but like, you can knock on the door. It's like, hey, you want to come over? We're having a party. It's like, yeah. And then everyone from Unit 1 comes to hang out in Unit 2. But you don't have to come and paint the walls inside of Unit 1, you know, when you can paint the walls inside of Unit 2. And then we can agree to paint the entire multifamily red to blue. You know what I mean? So there's always kind of customizations within your own multifamily unit, but we all... Yeah, there's always people knocking on everybody's doors, and then you can be like, hey, you can come in. We're actually going over to Unit 1 later to have a party. You want to come? And it's like, oh, that'll be fucking tight. I just showed up. I'm new here. You know, I didn't know which door to go to. Now I know to go to door number 2. What happens to door number 3? You know, that's my mindset of how I see it.
I don't disagree with you, but I think kind of where Rec is going is the problem that you have, like with the disagreement, is what do you do when Unit 1 and 2 have a disagreement? Right, and start fighting with each other, or like Discord requires like kind of one owner, because this was actually an issue me and Rec ran into with a member of one of our old units. He was one of the ones that had pretty much all the keys to everything,
right?
And
Discord had
stole half the money and decided.
And you get a power hungry nut job.
There's that one, but I'm talking about the one that changed the landing page. Yeah, they changed the landing page for a little bit. Yeah,
well, that was kind of well deserved though, because
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not arguing about what.
Okay.
Yeah, no, those.
I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is, what happens is when you have one person one person that has the keys to everything, and then there's a disagreement between, like, say it's me and you, right? I have the keys to everything, and there's a disagreement
when you kick me out.
And I boot you. Now everything's that's one of the things that you have to come up. I
think that's the major one. I think that's the number one thing.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest one, huh? And I guess you guys have felt that. I mean, I've never felt it, but I can see, because I've always been the leader of mine. And I have seen people do weird shit like that. I had a graphic designer guy upload. We got boosted, so he uploaded a fuck ton of emails. He had like 100 emails in the channel, and then he just deleted them all. I was like, that was not your responsibility, because you had a fucking hissy fit one day, you pussy.
Yeah. That's,
so those types of things. The thing is, that's annoying, because those types of interactions to be so micromanaged, and it's, I don't know. I think with anything getting big, it's always going to be some fucking negative issue on something. But those are issues that are like deep conversations that need to be had. But yeah, I can definitely see how that could be an issue. You have all these types of things. Literally, we had like hundreds. He was just sitting there cranking them out, and one day he just had a hissy fit about something and deleted everything from there. And I was like, I'm so glad I don't give you permission to edit emails, bro, because you're a fucking crazy person.
That's one of the hardest things. Like, I don't understand that, because I've always had like issues, and I've always, like, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I just want to delete all this shit. Fuck these people. Right? I've had those. I have those moments at work. I had that moment when I quit my last job where I was like, I was underpaid. I was overworked.
I feel like those complications are everywhere. There's like how do we how do you? I mean, if you can answer that question, there wouldn't ever be those problems anyway.
It's easy. It's called, you have a command operation policy.
What is that?
So you have how literally write down a policy for how the top echelon of which is, it's something, and then you could have, so we call them SOPs in the other group. I really hate that. It's just because like people don't understand military lingo, so when you throw it out cavalier, it just causes confusion, which causes disengagement. So that's why I always like Discord are a great example. They're stupid easy to follow. So that's all you need for your general, right?
Yeah, 100%. Don't be a dick. kind of intro.
But when it comes to like, hey, we want to make substantial change to the Discord, or we want to talk about, well, a great point of contention that come up. Discord's great. I think TeamSpeak Unity is going to be better.
Okay,
that's a great example, right? Where that's going to be like, now this becomes a discussion where, and the reason for that is I can lay it out very simply. TeamSpeak Unity would run on my server. Discord runs on Discord's servers. And I don't like the fact that, this is my big issue with Discord, they retain the rights to everything posted on Discord. Which I don't think they legally have the ability to do, but it is technically in their EULA. Like if you post an image that you create on Discord, Discord has the right to.
Isn't that anywhere though?
Kinda.
Doesn't YouTube, don't they own your videos too?
Yeah. Kind of. It's a
kind
bit,
of, right?
It's a big grayer area with YouTube, from my understanding. But I mean, I could be wrong. I just know that was one of my big reservations. I'm not opposed to it here at all. It's something. I unfortunately have a lot of scars in that fight because
you have told me about that. Yeah. I don't know. I agree. I agree that there's nothing great without any massive hiccups. But I just, every time I look at the Twitch feed, I'm like, this Kingmaker system is killing us. Not just me, but it's everybody. Everybody. We all have good ideas.
Yeah,
but
it's 100%. It's 100% an issue that Twitch needs to solve that I don't know if they can solve because of how they've built.
And that's why I like Twitch. It's like impossible.
Yeah.
And then you have people who are view botting, and then you have people who are view botting on fucking YouTube, man. And you have people who are buying their way to victory on YouTube, and it's just like, bro, then you have people who have editors, and then you have people who make them thumbnails and music and editors, and it's just, you work a full-time job. You're gonna come home and do all of that. And you probably could. Yeah. Okay. You probably could, but your ability to produce that much content in a small amount of time is almost zero. It would take you probably 2 weeks to make what they do in a day because of just how much team they have around them. It's just, it just sucks. So I'm always thinking every day when I wake up, how can I make more easier and have more people jump on board and do the same thing? Which is why the podcast here, it's like, what could we talk about? That would be fun. That would help us. Not just me. I'm never the person to be like, I want to make it. I don't care if I make it, as long as somebody does. Because I'm the person, if I make it and you were with me, we're all going up.
Well, that's what I think that's why I thought. That's
just my eyes.
When Senjo and I were initially talking, he's like, you're a lot bigger than me. I'm like, dude, I'm one video. But you're
I'm one video away. Yeah. Yeah. That's all it is, bro. That's seriously it. It was literally one video. That's all it was. Right time, right fucking place.
Yep. And I could see it working, and I gotta be honest, the more like talking to you, talking to Senjo, I've talked to Grease, obviously. There's a thought that's been rattling around my damn head for quite a while, which is trying to figure out exactly what you're talking about, which is getting back into gaming community mindset. The problem I have, and I've the reason I stepped away from a gaming community, and I'm going to be solo gaming for a while. Number one, talk off. But number two, like I just look at all the games, to Grease's point earlier, you look at all the games right now that they're 3, 4, 5 people max. It's hard to initiate a community because you gotta think, okay, we have 5 people that are crack and awesome. Recruit one more person. But we can
Too
only
much.
bring 5 people into game with us.
Yeah.
Now we have 6.
Yeah.
Do we do a
Yeah.
3 split? Does the person not like the 2 people that we're putting them with? Maybe they got recruited by somebody else, and it's
Well, that's my way around that because it happens even with like different games. So if I start playing Call of Duty and I get 2 people to play Call of Duty with me and they love Call of Duty, they love DMZ, they love Warzone, I'm like, oh, Tarkov wipe, I'm out of here, you know? And then I go play Tarkov and they're just sitting there playing by themselves, and then that guy is sick because then I got one guy just playing by himself. And then that one guy goes to find a new community, not out of hate or anything, but just because he wants people to play with.
that's
And so it's just this up and down effect. So it's like my thought process around that is like you talk about making IRL content, take it away from just like gaming, right? Because there's let's say you add like the soccer stuff, like or the IRL like dirt biking or four wheeler. My buddy has a race car. We're gonna make race car videos. It's a 370Z, so hooked up, fire shoots out of the back, looks insane, you know. And I want to I want to get as close to being run over as I can to get some cool GoPro footage. And there's so many avenues just for creating stuff that's fun and interactable, that it doesn't have to be just playing a video game all the time.
right, and gaming
Yeah.
isn't the only linchpin.
Yeah, 100%.
don't
Like that's where we spend about 90% of our time, but there are other things that we can do to have fun and make other people feel included.
I'm sorry, Grace, I know fucking going way over here, but are you familiar with a person called Felonious Falafel? He's like a redneck Alabama, like he does a lot of content without his shirt off, and he kind of talks in like an Alabama southern redneck accent, and he just talks about like he does a lot of forklift memes, like I'm forklift certified. I don't know if you've encountered him at all, but he does comedy bits, right? He does comedy bits about like working in a Walmart warehouse type deal, or like in a Home Depot. And
Wait,
maybe you do know him. He's pretty funny.
I don't think
you see the guy? He's like, oh, are you still? He's like, are you working? He's like, no, I'm just wearing the name tag because I like it. Is it that guy?
I think that might have been one of his bits. Yeah.
He just has like he's like it's like a green screen of him like in IKEA. All his TikTok ones.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
yeah, that dude's fucking hilarious.
He streams video games too, and plays.
That's cool.
Yeah, but like that's a person that I don't want to say I'm not trying to get at that, but it's, you know, just because a person finds their linch point into playing games with a community or, you know, from a non-gaming source doesn't mean that they don't play video games. What's the odds of somebody going like, oh, I like your racing video? They're like, oh, you also play Tarkov? Oh, I've been meaning to play that. You have guys on your Discord?
100%.
Somebody for me that did that is I don't know, y'all may have seen him, but he was a TikToker. It was Nico Ortiz, and he started off making just funny military videos. Majority of them was like he would do like he had the 5 services: the Army, Navy, Marine Corps. Who did I miss? Air Force.
No, he did a lot of stuff with the Space Force too. The
and the Space Force. Yeah, the potato stuff. And he, and then, you know, and now he has a Twitch channel. I believe he has a Twitch channel where he games, as well as some other podcasts that he does with a bunch of the other military guys like Fat Electrician that are, you know, but his, you know, being able to make that transition, it was, you know, pretty big. And, you know, being a lot of military guys are gamers, so it's just like
it's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Oh, you're right though. It's like that's huge.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think this is a good point to end on a high note, though, because we are about an hour over, and my throat's killing me. So I'm also really hoping that the audio levels are fine for this one, because I've been watching them the entire time, and I got you guys probably like 3 decibels above me right now, which is insane to me, because I'm like, I don't understand how Streamlabs shows it and how my Adobe Premiere shows it versus how YouTube and stereo audio renders it, even with normalizing the audio. Like that's the problem is when I normalize the audio to make it so you don't have to. I don't know if you guys know about normalizing audio. I hope you do as editors. I literally left a comment on somebody's video earlier today where I'm like, please look into your video editor how to normalize your audio, because I don't want to go to your YouTube channel and then have to turn my phone up to max volume.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it looks like you guys have been good. I'm hoping this one will turn out a little bit better.
I recorded all the audio as well, so
yeah, they're not bad. They're just, you can still listen to them. They just need to be the learning process.
100%.
This podcast has been good, man. Did you have a good time, Grease? Was Pritzler?
Yeah, this was a good one.
I had a good time talking about some good stuff, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think we talked about got some good topics talked about.
Yeah, so we can keep our motivations high and keep making some cool content that we feel is valuable, happy, and change someone's life.
Yep.
I'm very much appreciative of you being here, Grease, because it's weird. I was gonna hold off on inviting like you and then the other person. I know this is gonna be really funny, but the other person I really want to talk to from our community that we used to be part of is Byronius, because he's somebody. This man, the other guy, I really would love to talk to at some point, because me and him never had a lot of serious conversations. Probably like a couple years into us being in the community together. This man did so much Photoshop work for free.
Yeah, he's a great Photoshop editor.
Oh, insane. Awesome. Like he custom designed, like it's one of the cool things about being in a Milsim community, but it's also the hard thing. Like he designed a bunch of medals and ribbons and stuff for people to wear. So that way when you're like, not in real life, but like in the, when like we're on a forum engaging with each other, what are your accomplishments? And you look over and there's just, you see a bar with a bunch of medals on it. It's kind of funny, or kind of fun.
And the amount he pumped out, like you said, for free as just sideboard.
Yeah, high quality. So it's just an interesting person to talk to, because it's very different form of content that we're used to. So like we've only talked to the guest next week, the guest next month. Sorry, next week. The guest next month is also going to be a YouTuber most likely, but there's. I don't want to say who it's going to be. I'm going to leave it up as a guest. It's going to be a surprise. So if you're still listening to this point of the podcast, I'm very appreciative, and we have a very interesting and fun guest on next week. Maybe not as interesting as Grease, but it's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna leave some mystery to it. He's a very prolific YouTuber.
Yeah, Grease. Keep us up on the soccer stuff. That sounds really, really cool, honestly, man.
I will.
I think that's a sweet fucking avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's proved to open my eyes on a good bit of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are good. Those are good skills to develop too for YouTube long term.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the ending's here. Grease, again, thank you for hanging out with us. Hope we get to do another one of these soon. If you make it to the end of the video, we said it a million times. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content. If you found this video interesting, leave a comment and let us know. Everyone, have a great day. Guys, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Peace.